It all started when a couple named Josh and Haley decided to go camping in the forest. They wanted to give Haley's sister, Sienna, time to calm down after recovering from drug addiction. Arriving in the forest, Josh and Haley immediately set up a tent. Meanwhile, Sienna, who was busy looking for a cell phone signal to contact her friend, was suddenly surprised by an unusual sight coming from the direction of the city. Immediately she called her sister and Josh, who were having sex at that time, to jointly see the phenomenon of the appearance of an alien aircraft that was hovering in the urban sky. Seeing this, Sienna and Josh smiled happily because they thought this incident was a very extraordinary thing. However, not Haley, who felt a bad premonition. And sure enough, not long after, a large light appeared from under the plane and illuminated the city below. Along with this, Sienna, who had managed to contact her friend, suddenly heard strange coughing and screaming sounds from her cell phone. Shortly after, the plane emitted a bright light, which then made Sienna, Haley, and Josh feel a headache so strong that it made them all faint. Long story short, they finally woke up in the middle of the night. Then they realized something was wrong. They immediately packed up and planned to return to the car. However, at the same time, the sound of several explosions could be heard in the distance. This was followed by 2 fighter jets that bombarded the city. Seeing this, Haley was convinced that the city was not in a good condition. If they decided to go home, they would be trapped there. Therefore, Haley asked Sienna and Josh to go to the car to look for flares and other necessary equipment. Meanwhile, Haley herself would go collect firewood so that they could survive in this campsite longer. Haley, who is a former military member, helps them a little to survive. When they were sitting around the campfire, suddenly a woman with a face filled with black blood crawled towards them, until in front of Josh, the figure suddenly stopped moving. Feeling curious, Josh then brought his hand closer, with the intention of checking her pulse. However, instantly, the woman woke up and immediately attacked, injuring Josh's left palm. Reflexively, Josh then kicked the woman in the head, which then made the woman scream very loudly. And from a distance, the same screaming voices could be heard as the zombie woman seemed to be calling for reinforcements. Realizing that things might get worse, Josh, Haley, and Sienna immediately left the place as quickly as possible. Until not long after, they met a man named Liam, who was also surviving this strange event. And because Liam claimed to be heading to his vacation home, Josh, Haley, and Sienna decided to follow Liam. Until the next day, their journey was hampered by several zombies, which then made Liam decide to turn around. Here, there was also an oddity where the zombies initially walked very slowly. However, not long after, they stopped and shouted very loudly. At night, suddenly a helicopter flew over them. Seeing this, Josh then took a flare from Haley's bag and lit the flare in an open field. However, this action was immediately stopped by Liam, who then made them both fight. Liam was forced to stop Josh's actions because what he did could make the zombie herd know their current whereabouts. And just when Haley managed to break up their fight, Josh confessed that what had just happened was against his will. In other words, something had taken control of Josh's body, which was most likely caused by the wound on his left hand. Here, Liam also wanted to leave them because he thought Josh could be very dangerous for the next trip. However, due to Sienna's plea, Liam decided against it and continued to guide them to their vacation home. In short, after passing through a water tunnel, they finally reached their destination, where there is a large tent and an abandoned car, which is interpreted as a vacation home for Liam. Liam also told Josh, Haley, and Sienna to stay away from his tent. When Haley, Sienna, and Josh were warming themselves at the campfire fireplace, the wound on Josh's left hand was finally noticed by Sienna, who then panicked because she thought Josh would turn into a zombie like they had encountered before. However, Haley immediately calmed her down and asked Sienna not to tell this to Liam because she was sure everything would be fine. The next day, Haley, who was taking water supplies at a nearby river, realized that the water there had been contaminated by something that was very unlikely to be consumed. She immediately informed Liam about this. And because they really needed a water supply, Liam decided to go looking for a source of water that could be consumed together with Josh. Liam also brought a gun and some water containers as well as a knife, which was then handed over to Josh just in case. In short, after traveling quite far, They finally found a clean water source that was not contaminated. However, they noticed a woman sitting under a tree. Feeling curious, they slowly approached the woman, who later found out that the woman died as if she had been shot in the head. However, strangely, there was absolutely no blood coming out. Sensing that something was wrong, they quickly replenished their water supply before hurrying back to camp. The journey back was certainly not as easy as when they set off. Not only was it getting dark, but they were also carrying a heavy load of water supplies. Until finally, surprisingly, some zombies appeared behind the trees. 2 zombies tried to attack Liam and Josh, while the rest suddenly knelt down. Liam looked very difficult to stop the zombie who was trying to stick his finger into his head. Meanwhile, Josh, who managed to defeat the zombies that attacked him and intended to help Liam, suddenly could not control his body. Luckily, after a few moments struggling in his consciousness, Josh managed to regain control of his body and save Liam. At the same time, some of the zombies that were previously kneeling are now starting to stand up. This prompted Liam and Josh to quickly leave and avoid the zombies' pursuit. However, not long after, they were surrounded by dozens of zombies. Along with them, there was one zombie figure coming from the very back, who seemed to be the leader of the zombies. Liam immediately took the gun he kept and aimed it at the figure. However, suddenly Josh stopped Liam and instead tried to turn the gun towards Liam himself. Josh again lost control of his own body. This also made Josh try to point the knife he was carrying towards Liam's body. Luckily, after struggling again in the subconscious, Josh managed to regain control of his body and stuck the knife into the body of the zombie leader in front of him. Liam took this opportunity to also shoot the zombie's head, which simultaneously made the other zombies around look like they were in pain. They used this opportunity to quickly leave and hide. Liam also pointed his gun at Josh's head in anticipation if Josh lost control again. Luckily, at that time, Josh remained conscious, which in the end, they both managed to get to the camp, where Josh then revealed to Haley that Liam had found out about the wound on his left hand. Before then, they entered the tent. Meanwhile, Sienna actually came to Liam's tent to invite him to spend the night together by having sex. In midnight, Haley, who was still awake, took some water supplies and hid them near the river channel not far from the tent. And when she returned, Haley realized that the tent had been damaged and Josh had disappeared somewhere. Immediately, she went to Liam's tent to inform him of this and help him find Josh's whereabouts. In short, after searching around, Josh was finally found walking with a blank stare. Liam, who realized that Josh had again lost control of his body, warned Sienna to kill Josh immediately. However, Sienna refused because she believed that Josh only needed treatment, and Haley knew how to do it. There was no other choice. Liam could not help but help to bring Josh back to the camp and then put him in Liam's tent. During this time, Haley tried to keep Josh conscious by injecting him with stimulants. Liam, who kept trying to convince Haley that Josh could not be helped, pointed his gun at Josh's body. However, Haley prevented him from thinking that there was still time to cure Josh. Of course, Liam could not accept this explanation, especially after what he had experienced with Josh before. Sienna then got in Liam's way while asking to at least give Haley time to say goodbye to Josh. In the end, Liam also gave a 1-hour time limit before Josh would be killed for the common good. In short, an hour later, Haley was seen still crying, hugging Josh. Initially, Liam nicely asked Haley to stay away. However, because his request was ignored, Liam was forced to drag Haley's body and tie it to the tent pole right in front of Josh. Liam also tied Josh's body to the pole before injecting the stimulant again, while telling Haley that if Josh reached the final stage of change, he would kill him quickly without pain. Meanwhile, Sienna, who was outside, accidentally found the water supply hidden by Haley. This made Sienna think that Haley was actually planning to go together with Josh using that supply. Sienna becomes very angry, and then goes to Haley and hits her very hard, making Haley faint on the spot. Later that night, Haley woke up and found Josh, who was banging his head several times until it bled black. Josh also asked Haley for help before hitting his head again and dying. This incident made Haley cry, lamenting the departure of her lover. However, a few moments later, Josh's body suddenly moved again and was quickly able to untie his bonds. Josh, who had turned into this strange creature, slowly began to approach Haley. However, even more surprisingly, it turns out that this changed Josh still has a little awareness to untie Haley and ask her to leave quickly. Soon, Haley went out to take Sienna away. However, Liam instead pointed a gun at Haley and used her as bait against zombie Josh. At this point, Haley also revealed that the water supply she had hidden was actually prepared only for Sienna as a supply so that she could survive. This truth then makes Sienna try to help Haley by injecting something into Liam's body and then quickly leaving from there. As a result, Josh's zombie reached Liam's body and immediately killed him. Meanwhile, Sienna and Haley decided to keep running away. Until the next day, they continued to walk through the forest while continuing to avoid the zombies. Until finally, Sienna fell exhausted and was immediately attacked by zombies. The same thing happened to Haley. However, right when she was attacked, she suddenly entered the subconscious and met Sienna and Josh. They got together for the last time before Haley woke up with a small wound in her stomach and found Sienna's body, which was now no longer alive. After crying over the loss of her loved ones, Haley decides to continue her journey until she reaches a beach, where, in the distance, a large group of the incoming Navy can be seen, and the movie ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.